Today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of buying a home in Wilmette and throw in a few tips that'll keep you making some smart decisions that you don't regret later on. Hi, Paul Gorney from the Chicago Luxury Living channel. I have a new video every week talking about living, visiting, eating, sleeping, moving in Chicago and all the best areas around Chicago. So today we're going to be talking about a new area, and you can just hit subscribe down below to get a new video every week. And people reach out all the time, text, email, Facebook, however you like. If you have questions about the areas, relocating. I work with a lot of business leaders, a lot of our professional athletes, a lot of people for the last 30 years in these areas, so just call if you need anything at all. New construction is one of the most popular options in Wilmette. If you can afford it, a new home, they're in tremendous demand. This home behind me right here, I sold to the builder when it was the original home. He built this home here, sold off market. A lot of demand from people coming from the city, from Chicago, and buying homes like this. So this one in particular sold in a heartbeat, and he's putting up another one just around the corner. And that one is in negotiations now already. So there's not a lot of them, and you got to be very careful with the builder you choose. This one in particular is a great builder I've worked with a lot, but these homes are in great demand. One thing you definitely want to keep in mind in Wilmette is the year. The real estate year is very unique to this area. So 70% of the homes sell between January and June. Most of the people are buying to get their children in school, and the year, the selling season really depends on that. There'll be some things that I'll tell you in just a minute that will really help you if you don't have to get your kids in school. You sometimes can get a better deal. Not only do the new construction homes sell off market, but some of the more unique or desirable properties sell off market too. The one behind me was one of the highest selling priced homes around, has a basketball court in the basement. I sold this to two people that just were a great match. Figure that out, and there were quite a few people that would have liked this home, but sold off market very quietly. And very unique. So it has three lots, which is very unusual for this neighborhood. Basketball court in the basement. Was originally, the original home is still intact, even though it was gutted, and then it was significantly added on to. The new home's going up around the corner. The old home just came down a few days ago, and now they're starting to demolish the old home, and they'll dig the foundation. One thing you want to consider in Wilmette is how long you're going to live in a new construction home, because people do lose money sometimes depending on how long they hang on to the home. If you're going to hang on to it for the long haul, you're in good shape. But if you're going to hold on to it, for between 7 to 10 years, you may lose money, because all your finishes will be old at that point, and you're going to have to redo the whole thing or compete against the new homes being built. So that's a big deal to keep in mind. So if you're a young family and you have children that are not in school yet, or you don't have children yet, or you're downsizing and don't have children, anywhere where you're not dependent upon the school year, you typically can find a home, ballpark 5% less between the months of October and January. Well, actually between maybe October 1st to the end of December because the market is very, very dependent on people without school-age children during that time, and the quantity of buyers is just far less, combined with the fact that people who are on the market at that time really want to sell. They're pretty motivated. They have a job transfer. They bought a house within the neighborhood towards the end of summer, and they need to sell theirs. So there's some pretty serious motivation, and also sometimes people take their homes off the market during that time, and if you can source those, they can be a pretty good deal as well. One thing that's very particular to Wilmette is there are a lot of realtors who get into real estate as sort of a career later in life, and just serve the community, which is great. However, many of the home sales are really spread out amongst a huge number of realtors, and many of them don't have a real long background in real estate. So homes like this one sold drastically underpriced because really the way it was handled in the market, and could have been done much differently, and the people that purchased it are very excited, and everybody knows they got an incredible deal. And it's just the type of thing you want to take advantage of if you're buying, and look for those kind of diamonds in the rough if you know where to look. A very common question people have in Wilmette after they live in their home for a number of years is, would it be better to add on to the home, or would it be better to buy another larger home? So this is a very, very common situation here, and it's really best to consider this when you're purchasing. If you're going to move school districts, if you want to move to a bigger home, if the lot that you're buying your home on has enough room to expand for yourself or the person you sell it to if you decide to move, what the appreciation can be in your neighborhood, how much money you can put in, how much can it handle before you be at risk of losing money. A very, very common thing going on in Wilmette every day, people making this decision. So it's really important you understand the differences, the values, the zoning requirements, the lot size, and make the best decision going in on day one. A big con in Wilmette, and a big tip to keep in mind is, if you're moving from the city of Chicago, or if you're moving from another big city, people commonly coming from the city will buy homes that very few other people will consider. They consider Wilmette so quiet. If it's on a busy street in Wilmette or on a not as desirable location, that's really nothing in comparison to what they dealt with in the city with noises and trash or whatever it was. So a problem in Wilmette or discomfort is nothing compared to the city typically, so they'll accept it. But what they'll find sometimes is that they made a mistake. They'd rather live on another street in another location, and when they go to sell the house, may not appreciate as much. They may not be able to add on to it as much because they can't handle the improvements in that location. So something to really consider. Try and steer people away from that situation. I've done that numerous times, so something good to keep in mind. Wilmette has great schools, and when you're considering, where you should live, you don't have to worry about the quality of schools. All the schools are highly ranked, consistent through the whole school district. The only thing that you may want to consider is, the pricing of the home that you buy, which school has the right size home, the right value for you, and then also the communities are, slightly different. Some of them have just some great parent events, and some are a little bit smaller than others. You know, there's slight variations that, you know, can matter to a family, and depending what their child's strengths and weaknesses or needs are.